Crying isn't weakness. It's emotional courage. 9 times tears are a powerful sign of strength. In a world that too often equates stoicism with strength, crying is still misunderstood. Many of us were raised hearing phrases like, "don't cry, be strong," or "toughen up." Over time, we internalize the idea that showing emotion, especially through tears, is something shameful or immature. But science and lived experience tell us a different story. Crying is a healthy and adaptive emotional response. It can be a profound sign of inner strength, resilience, and maturity. It means you're not running from your emotions, you're facing them. Let's explore 9 powerful scenarios where crying is not only justified, it's courageous, transformative, and deeply human. 1, saying goodbye to someone you love. Saying goodbye, whether it's temporary or permanent, is one of life's most emotionally charged experiences. When we cry during these moments, it shows how deeply we connect and care. Imagine a parent dropping their child off at university for the first time. The tears aren't about weakness. They're a reflection of years of love, sacrifice, and shared memories. Or consider the ache of losing a loved one to death. Tears are how the heart honors that loss. Psychological insight from an attachment perspective. Crying during separation is a response to emotional bonding. It signals closeness and love. Dr. John Bowlby's work on attachment theory affirms that grieving, and by extension, crying, is a necessary process for emotional healing and adjustment. 2, being overwhelmed with gratitude. There's something uniquely powerful about crying because you're grateful. Maybe someone did something unexpectedly kind. Maybe you received help when you were at your lowest, or maybe you simply feel overwhelmed by the goodness of a moment, like a surprise reunion or a touching tribute. These tears are sacred. They're born from a heart that recognizes connection, grace, and beauty. Psychological insight. Gratitude activates the brain's reward system, but it also softens emotional defenses. According to positive psychology research, crying in these moments indicates emotional openness, a trait linked to stronger mental health and interpersonal bonds. 3, witnessing or experiencing injustice. Tears in response to injustice are a form of moral clarity. Whether you're watching the suffering of a marginalized group, seeing cruelty unfold in front of you, or even remembering a painful part of your past, crying reveals a conscience that cannot look away. For instance, a child who sees bullying and cries not for themselves, but for someone else. That's compassion in action. Or an adult who tears up during a documentary on social issues. That's empathy, not fragility. Psychological insight. Empathic distress is a concept that explains why we sometimes cry at other people's pain. But this reaction often prompts action, not passivity. It's the fuel for advocacy, compassion, and systemic change. Tears become a first step toward justice. 4, moments of deep healing and therapy. Therapy isn't just about talking. It's about feeling what we've long suppressed. When someone finally shares their trauma, revisits childhood pain, or forgives themselves, tears often follow. These are not breakdowns, they're breakthroughs. Imagine a woman who has carried shame for years finally realizing it wasn't my fault. Or a man confronting childhood neglect, weeping for the little boy who never got to feel safe. Psychological insight. Crying during emotional processing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for calming the body after stress. It reduces cortisol, slows heart rate, and encourages psychological integration. In other words, crying literally helps us heal. 5, crying while comforting someone else. Sometimes the strongest thing we can do is sit with someone else in their pain and let ourselves feel it too. Crying with another person doesn't steal their spotlight. It shares their load. Picture a friend holding your hand at a funeral, both of you crying in silence. Or a father crying quietly while his child opens up about bullying. These moments create emotional intimacy that words alone can't reach. Psychological insight. According to mirror neuron theory, witnessing another's pain can activate the same emotional circuits in our brain. Shared crying is a form of empathic resonance, a physiological and emotional alignment that builds trust and connection. 6. After accomplishing something monumental, tears don't just flow from pain. They can come from pride, relief, and awe. Think of an athlete collapsing in tears after winning a gold medal, or someone weeping at their graduation ceremony after years of hardship. These tears reflect your internal journey, not just the visible milestones. They carry every sleepless night, every setback you overcame, and every time you kept going when you wanted to give up. Psychological insight. Achievement-related crying often reflects post-stress emotional release. After prolonged emotional restraint, the body finally lets go through tears. This catharsis is linked to resilience and self-efficacy, the belief in one's own ability to succeed. 7. When you're finally honest about your feelings, there comes a moment in many people's lives when the mask slips, when we admit what we've tried so hard to hide. Saying, "I'm not okay," can crack open years of emotional repression. And the tears that come, they are truth embodied. Imagine someone finally telling their partner, "I feel unloved," or admitting to themselves, "I need help." It takes bravery to confront our emotions, especially when we fear being judged or rejected. Psychological insight. Emotional congruence, when our external expression matches internal reality, is a key factor in psychological well-being. Crying in these moments allows for authenticity and self-acceptance, crucial steps in emotional growth. 8. In the middle of conflict, forgiveness or apology. Conflict can be a gateway to healing, but only if we're willing to be vulnerable. Crying during a difficult conversation doesn't mean you've lost control. It means you care deeply. It's a raw expression of emotion that says, "This matters to me." Picture a couple in therapy, both in tears as they try to reconcile, or a parent crying while asking their child for forgiveness. These tears create space for empathy and reconnection. Psychological insight. Research on emotional expression during conflict shows that genuine tears can de-escalate tension. They trigger protective, not aggressive, responses in others, promoting reconciliation and emotional repair. 9. Letting go of the past. Letting go is often romanticized as an empowering moment, but the truth is, it usually involves grief, pain, and mourning. Whether you're releasing a toxic relationship, childhood pain, or unmet dreams, the tears are part of that release. Letting go means choosing growth over familiarity. It means mourning who you were to embrace who you're becoming. And crying during this process is not only expected, it's healthy. Psychological insight. According to grief theory, emotional release, including crying, is a necessary stage in accepting change. Avoiding tears can lead to emotional suppression, which over time contributes to anxiety, depression, or even physical illness. Tears are language without words. Tears don't always need explanations. Sometimes they say what words can't, that we're hurting, healing, grateful, growing, or letting go. Crying is a deeply human act that requires us to sit with vulnerability rather than escape it. And in today's world, where it's all too easy to armor ourselves emotionally, that kind of openness is revolutionary. A gentle invitation. If you're someone who has been told to hold it together or don't cry, consider this a new permission slip. It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be soft. There is strength in surrender, power in honesty, and beauty in showing up as your full emotional self. So the next time you feel tears rising, don't swallow them. Let them speak, because those tears, they mean you care. They mean you're alive. They mean you're strong in all the ways that truly matter.